Hello, everyone. Oops. Wow. How are you? How is everyone? I'm just so happy that you're here with me, and I want you to make sure that you share. You want to make sure you share. Tonight is episode 20 of the Lit Life series, and I'm so glad that you're here because guess what? This is the last episode, episode 20 of the Lit Life series. I'm so glad that you're here. Now, I'm not going away, but this is it for the Lit Life series for a while. And while I see my guest, I'm going to invite her in. And I'm KP Carter, the Literacy Whisperer. Welcome to the Lit Life series. Let me tell you a little bit about me. I am the author of the Lizzie B. Hayes series, which is about to have a new book the end of this month, August 23rd. I am launching Summertime with Lizzie B. Hayes my mind is going tonight. Summertime with Lizzie B. Hayes, second edition. Last Friday, I had a great big celebration with some wonderful children. We had kids' night out, and we had songs from the 60s, and we played games, and I did some storytelling. And as you know, the Lizzie B. Hayes series is set during the 1960s in Newark, New Jersey. And it's historical fiction about growing up it's an ordinary family living in an extraordinary time period. So let me just invite my guest in. Make sure that you're sharing. Make sure you're sharing. And just so that you know, oh, where did you go? I think
Hey!
It's been 20 episodes, and I'm still making sure I get people in the right way.
Oh no, I get it. I get it. I'm the same way. I was like, okay,
Yes,
wait. What do I do?
yes. What button do I push?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you. So nice
Yes,
to meet you.
it's so
So
nice to meet
everyone,
you too.
my special guest tonight, she's helping me go out with a bang. Dr. Jennifer Chatmon, and she's the author of a wonderful book. I have my copy here. I'll tell you about what I did with this book a few days ago.
Oh,
But yes, so
oh, there we go.
do me a favor and introduce yourself. Did
Okay,
you
so
share?
yes. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay,
you.
great. Okay, so officially, I am Dr. Jennifer Chatmon. Uh, I am an educator. If we look at my handle, right, my social media handle for IG, I am an educator. Currently, I am an elementary principal. I am the doctor because that was the doctorate that I earned from Rutgers University, and I am a mom of a 10-year-old boy who is super special and has been told to not come downstairs while mommy is on the interview.
It would be okay if he did. It would certainly be okay. So tell us, what led you to become an author?
It's interesting because prior to education, I was in the music industry. So
Oh,
I wrote songs and I traveled and I sang for myself and I sang background. Oh, my mama's here. Jay Chapman.
oh,
I see her.
yeah,
Mama's
I
on
see
board.
Mama's on board.
And really much of that life was because of the support that I got from her and allowing me to stay in her house, right, while I was out performing.
Yeah,
And I was, like I said, I was a songwriter, and I transitioned into education because I had a band member at the time, and we were kind of like in between gigs, and you need money, and he was like, you should go be a substitute teacher. And I was like, why? Why would I do that? And he said, well, One, they pay you at the time, because this was in Newark, New Jersey, and I think the
Yeah.
sub pay was like 110 or something like that. He was like, they pay you $110 a day, and you get to
That's
read the
it.
newspaper all day. So,
Uh-oh.
right.
You were not one of those kind of subs, were you?
Yes, but I was not, right? Because I got into, I transitioned into education that way, but because I was a performer, it very quickly clicked for me, right? That the classroom was like an audience, right? And not that I was on stage and everything that I was doing was all encompassing, but it was a reciprocal relationship. But to answer the question about how I got into writing, transitioning into education, I didn't stop, writing songs, and the performing may have slowed down. But when I was pregnant with my son 10 years ago, it was just the creative juices were flowing. And I was like, this is such a precious opportunity for us to exchange who we are with one another, to build our relationship. And it just came from the microphone to the book page.
Yes, that is so interesting. I was a substitute teacher as well. I happened to, when I graduated, instead of coming home to apply for a job, I
Mm-hmm.
went off on a journey.
Okay.
That's a story for another time.
Okay.
And I ended up having to substitute teach for an entire year.
Okay.
Wherever they called me, that's where I went. Newark, Irvington, East Orange, Orange, whatever. But I ended up, after that, going back to graduate school. I was fortunate enough to do that early on.
Right.
So tell us, how do you use your wonderful book?
Hey, I got one too. Wait. I
How
got
do
one.
you use this book? How do you use it to promote the joy of reading?
I use it to promote the joy of reading as a tool when I'm speaking to parents, because I really find that the magic is in encouraging parents to have that reading time and that reading habit in their home. For me, I grew up with a reader, mama who's on board. She was a reader. And so I became a reader. And so I use it to express to parents, listen, first of all, our children do what they see us do.
Exactly.
And even if it isn't something that's already naturally part of you, taking that time and somebody else subbed in Essex County, and
Yes.
rolling it into the bedtime routine is so valuable, right? Because one, you're establishing routine, and we know that that routine promotes calmness, it manages expectations, and it allows them to we're modeling time management, right? And so then when we fold that reading into the bedtime routine, it's like just this wonderful space that exists outside of the crazy day, where we can just connect, where we can just imagine, where we can just have like this really, really, really low stakes, no stress interaction, human to human.
That's one. And that leads me to my next question. You almost answered it completely. Is what tips would you share with parents? Now, you talked about establishing a routine, being a reading role model, letting your child see you reading.
Yes.
And what else would you suggest?
I think it depends, because you can have an overall suggestion, but then what I find, like, we have parents in their homes that are just already readers. But for homes where that just for whatever reason is not the habit, I say start small. Read labels, read billboards, read the ads that come, if you're watching TV, just read. We must read, because reading, not only does it allow us to build our imagination, to lean into our creativity. If I can just, step into my educator lane a little bit more, when we're talking about students graduating from high school, all the different standardized tests that we engage in, they say that students are being presented with reading material that's at a lexile, which is just a measurement of their reading ability, of 1350 by the time they graduate high school. And that's for career, and that's for college. Yes. And so we have a standard, some standard data points that we hope that they will meet. But the reality is that so many of our students for many reasons. For many reasons, right? That's for another conversation. But for
Yeah.
many reasons, do not read at or near grade level. That they are always trying to catch up, and by the time they get to 12th grade and it's hello real world, they're reading, some of them, at a middle school level.
Yes.
So reading at a middle school level will not allow you to be successful as a customer service representative at the Geek Squad at Best Buy, because that material that they're giving to you to read is at a different level. It won't allow you to be successful in your freshman year of college if, and people may not know about this, all of the different remediation courses that students often have to take
Yes.
freshman year for a cost, but don't add up to
Exactly.
your degree. So reading plays such an integral part. It's not just something that exists in English class. It is
Yeah.
a tool that creates options for your life.
Exactly. I before I retired, I was the director for language arts and testing in my district, and I used to tell everyone is a reading teacher. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just the English teacher. It's not just the language arts teacher.
Mm-mm.
It's everybody.
Yes, because words are everywhere. Hello. It's in your
They
science
are.
textbook. It's in your math textbook. We have to spread the love when it comes to literacy. I was also, at my previous job at a high school, I was also the testing coordinator, and trying to create that buy-in beyond the English class was a
Yes.
challenge.
Very much so, because people think, oh, well, the language arts teacher will take care of that. The English teacher will take care of that. I don't have to do. Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
yes, you do.
everyone's responsibility. Everyone's
Mhm.
responsibility.
It's everyone's responsibility. And I think if we can get a hold of that, we can kind of right the ship,
Agreed.
because we kind of went a little too far in the opposite direction where, well, we know what we have now.
Yeah, we know what we have now.
Yeah, we know what we have. And
Yeah.
so it's upon us, those of us who have influence and have the skill to help people understand what their role is,
Yeah.
especially parents.
Yes. Yeah. That's the greatest hurdle for us, because for many reasons beyond the scope of this conversation, people often send their children to school and say, hey, you take care of that, right?
Yes,
That's your responsibility. And it's a collective responsibility and a redefinition of roles.
exactly. I like that redefinition of roles.
That's right.
Redefine your role. That's
That's
right.
right.
I just want to share with you. I love your book, My Wish for You. I
Yes.
have a group of students. I'm retired
Yeah.
after 35 years, and I have a few students.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I made it. Yes, I did. So I spend my time writing
Mm-hmm.
and working with parents, and I have a few little students that I tutor. And I
Mm-hmm.
read this book to them the other day, and they absolutely loved it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
loved the pictures. They really did. Thank you so much for sharing it with me. I
No,
really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. It was
Yes.
I was intentional about the visuals, because not only did I transition into the author lane from being a songwriter, I was also that was just that natural transition, but I was also motivated by the challenge that I had to find books for my little brown boy.
Exactly.
So with that,
Exactly.
I accepted the challenge. And when I was working on this book, I was like, these people need to look like us,
Yes.
because there's so much power in being able to see yourself in every aspect of your life at whatever age you are.
Exactly, exactly. That's what led me to write. I was always writing as a child, but when
Mm-hmm.
my sons were little, they're full grown adults now, but when they were little, it was really hard to find books that had images in them that looked like them. And
Mm-hmm.
I decided back when they were young that I was going to write a book. It took me a while to get it done, but it's done now.
Right.
Yes.
It's
So
important.
tell us, what is your favorite book?
Ooh, I my favorite book, it's so obscure. It is Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Okay. Have you ever read that?
No, I have not heard of
Okay.
it.
So there's a story behind it, of course. So
Okay.
Jonathan Livingston Seagull, I think the author is Richard Bach, right? And so my Uncle Tony, my mother's brother, who is on here, he and I had a very special relationship, and he gave that book to me when I was in middle school. And so that book told through, a flock of seagulls, but there's this one seagull in the flock that wants more. So he sees that the group's pattern is like we fly from point A to point B and point B. Oh, that's my niece right there. She currently owns my copy.
Currently owns your.
Yep. So they fly from point A and point B, and then this one seagull, Jonathan Livingston, is like, well, wait, why don't we ever go to point C? Or why don't we ever, try something different? And the flock is like, no, we don't do that, right? That's just not what we do. And so it's this great story about first learning, about yourself and understanding others, and just a beautiful tale about growth as an individual. And it's so special to me because like I said, I had a very special relationship with my Uncle Tony, and
Yes.
he saw that I needed that book, right?
Okay.
And it was in middle school, and we know that middle school is tough, right?
Yes.
Middle school
Yes.
is its own special
Yes,
place.
it is. I taught eighth grade 1 year, and that was
And
one
you were
year
like,
enough.
I'm good.
I'm good.
But that's part of why it's so special to me, because he saw that I was, struggling and trying to learn, find my place, trying to understand myself. And it was like, hey, here's this book. He also introduced me to Anita Baker and her second album, Sweet Love. So I also love him very much for that.
Okay.
But yeah, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, my niece has my copy. I recommend it to every child and adult, just as a reference point for remembering what's important.
Yes. Yes. So now tell us what's next for you. Well, you know what? Before we go on to what's next for you,
Yes.
tell us, what is My Wish for You about?
Oh, well, you know what? And speaking to, how I was mentioning that I use the book as a tool for parents to start leaning into that bedtime routine. That
Yes.
book grew out of our bedtime routine and really our wake up routine, because when my son was little, every morning after he got out of my bed, every morning, you have to stop sleeping in my bed. Every morning he would come in the morning and say, hi, mommy, do the little thing. And I'd say, how did you sleep? Did you dream? And so in the beginning, it was just like one word answers, right? But then as his vocabulary grew and his sense of self grew, it became these wonderful conversations when we didn't have to go to work and school. But these
Yes.
wonderful conversations just about imagery and just about life and just about, things that we were thinking about. And it was such a precious moment for me. I was like, I need to capture this. So
Yeah.
those images in the book, and those are literally the questions that I asked him. And the
Okay.
image
Okay.
represents the things that we would talk about. And like I said, I was intentional about how the characters look. I was also
Yes.
intentional about the visuals. Some of them are looking out into LA. The page when we're in the cherry blossoms, that's when we lived in Newark and
Yes.
we were near Branchbrook Park. So it's all
Oh, okay.
very, very personal.
Well, I have to tell you, this is my favorite page.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I
Where
love
there
that.
are clouds over oceans. I love this page.
Yes.
Well, I always had dreams of flying when I was a
Yes.
little girl.
Yep. As
Yeah.
did he. As did he. So I was like, all of this, it needs to be on the page. So it's
Yes.
definitely a manifestation of many years of he and I meeting in the morning and talking about his night.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So tell us, what
Mhm.
is next for you? Do you have any books coming up
Woo!
you're working on,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
what's that?
So,
I know the school year is about to start, so.
well, actually, today was the first day at my
Really?
elementary school. Oh, yes. Yes. We were back because, we're on the West Coast. So, like, we don't play. Today was the first day.
Yes.
But I have 3 things that I'm working on at the same time. I'm trying to
Okay.
manage. But yeah, it's not the most effective approach. But
I know what that's like. I know. We can talk offline.
okay. So I have one book. It's another board book. It's very simple. It's just really rhyming. It's called Piss, Poop, Pee, and Butt. Right?
Yes,
Exactly, because they
yes,
love those words, right?
they do.
They love it. So working on that in one lane. In the middle lane, I'm working on, and I'm trying to figure out if this is going to be like an advanced early reader where it has very short chapters, or if it will be a middle school book. But it's called South for the Summer. And
Okay.
it's built out of my experiences with my mother jumping in the car on the last day of school and heading south for the summer from
Yes.
the New York City area. And so I'm fleshing out our experiences, and our is my brother and I, and weaving a tale of growth and discovery and relationships and family. So I'm still working on that. And then
Yes.
in lane 3, I have a, yes, because I'm doing the most. In lane 3, I have a series that is based on my son, and he is an explorer. And so he's like about 4 to 6 years old, and he has a laboratory that he accesses under his bed after I go to bed. So yeah. Those 3 things, while
That's
also
a
being a
boy.
principal.
Yeah, and I'm a principal.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I'm a principal and single mom of a 10-year-old. So it's not a lot going on.
Yes. Just enough.
Just
Just enough.
enough, yeah. But it keeps me. It feeds my soul. So it's not. It's a effort of love, and
Yes.
I guess it comes across. I'm super excited about all of them.
Yes, it does come across. I'm so glad that you shared all of that. Let me just look through here
Okay,
and see if we have any questions, because I always like to give folks an opportunity to ask. If you have a question,
pop it.
pop it in.
Yep. And your hair looks
So,
even more fabulous. I just have to say that.
oh, thank you. This is thank you so much. So I don't see any questions. I just want to thank you so much for joining.
Yes.
And
Thank you for me.
we are definitely going to talk offline. Yes. And I want to just remind everyone that my book, Summertime with Lizzie B. Hayes, second edition, is coming out on August 23rd. And you can pre-order it now. And you can also join my Facebook book launch community group.
Oh,
It's KP Carter's book launch community, to find out all about what's going on with the upcoming book, upcoming launch. I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited to be able to share it. It's for readers ages 8 and up. So it's a chapter book. This is book one, the first edition.
I
Oh,
love
I
it.
see a question. What did you enjoy most about creating your book?
I want to say bringing the visuals to life, because as a songwriter, I'm used to that part, right? I'm used to the sparsing. I'm used to the rhyme. I'm used to creating the story with just the words, but really bringing to the page the pictures that were in my mind. That part was great.
Yes, that is a wonderful thing when you have that vision and it gets on the page.
Yeah, because I
I
can't draw
remember,
at all.
say that again.
I said I can't draw at all, so it's great that it turned out
Right,
the way
that
that
the
it did.
illustrator, because I know when I first gave my manuscript to the illustrator,
Hmm.
I just told him I wanted one picture per chapter,
Okay.
and the images that he came up with were just what I was thinking. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, that's because you wrote it so descriptively, and it just really touched my heart. It really did.
It's a very specific feeling.
It is.
Hmm.
It most certainly is. So I'm going to be looking for your 3 books that are coming up.
Yes, they're coming. They're coming, and I'm
They're
looking for the
coming. They're
community.
coming. Yes. All right. I don't see any more questions. And I just want to again thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for sharing your wonderful book with me.
Thank you.
And folks, thanks for hanging in here with me for 20 episodes. We've been doing this. 20 episodes. I'm not going anywhere, but it's time to do something different. Time to do something different. I'll be live again soon. Oh, somebody else on here looking good. Yes.
We'll take that.
Yes, we'll take it. And until we meet again, I wish you love, laughter, and literacy. Bye bye.
Thank you.